The flickering campfire cast long, dancing shadows against our tents, painting the jungle around us in shades of orange and deep black. It was our third night in the Amazon, and the initial thrill had started to wear off, replaced by a quiet unease. The sounds of the rainforest at night are a symphony of the unknown, a rustle here, a distant cry there. But tonight, there was a new sound, a low, guttural hiss that seemed to slither through the trees, making the hair on my arms stand up. That's when we saw them. Pairs of brilliant green eyes, glowing with an unnatural light, watching us from the edge of the clearing. They were everywhere, dozens of them, suspended in the darkness just beyond the fire's reach. Panic erupted. Someone screamed, "Monster!" And we scrambled for anything we could use as a weapon. Trekking poles, heavy-duty flashlights, anything. The eyes just stared, unblinking, their numbers seeming to grow with every passing second. My friend Leo, a biologist, was the first to regain his composure. He shone his powerful flashlight beam into the trees, and the light caught the unmistakable pattern of scales. "Anaconda," he whispered, his voice trembling. "They're anacondas." A whole lot of them. But why were they here? Anacondas are solitary creatures. Why would so many gather this close to a human encampment, a fire? They weren't advancing. They seemed hesitant, scared. The hissing grew louder, more frantic, and the ground began to vibrate with a heavy, rhythmic thud. It was a footstep. A massive one. The anacondas, these apex predators, started to retreat, slithering away from the clearing and back into the suffocating darkness, their green eyes vanishing one by one. They weren't hunting us. They were running from something. A new shape began to emerge from the dense foliage, something that dwarfed the trees around it. It wasn't an animal I recognized from any textbook. It was huge, its form vaguely humanoid but twisted, with limbs that bent at impossible angles. Where its eyes should have been, there were only two empty, dark sockets that seemed to absorb the firelight. It let out a deafening roar, a sound that wasn't animalistic but felt ancient and intelligent. It was a sound of pure, malevolent hunger. We finally understood. The green eyes in the dark hadn't been the threat. They were a warning. The true monster of the jungle wasn't the one with glowing eyes. It was the thing that even the anacondas were terrified of. We stared in frozen horror as it took another step toward our fragile campsite, the firelight revealing jagged teeth and a mouth that stretched far too wide. We weren't just trespassers in its territory. We were on the menu. The jungle had many secrets, and we had just stumbled upon its most terrifying one. There was nowhere to run. The real nightmare was just beginning. Thanks for watching. If you love tales of suspense and adventure, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more stories from the edge of the unknown. See you next time.